Monday and 6 a.m. somewhere, so I guess it's time for meditation. As I mentioned briefly last week, starting today, we're going to be taking a little dive into the chakras. Depending on which system one hears about or one is into, there are different numbers of chakras from 3 to 1,000. But the system that I have studied, is a 7 chakra system, from the root chakra, the Muladhara chakra, to the crown, the Sahasrara. Each chakra associated with a different color, a different note, a different frequency, a different element, a different physical sense, and addressing different aspects of our individual life. The chakra journey is an inward journey. Of all the things that go on in the universe, we have control over none, except for the things that come through this vessel, out of the gates of this mouth, and the actions of this body, the one that we were deposited in to, the way that I put it, impose our will upon the earth. So it begins with the root, as any plant in nature, or any animal. We begin as a seed, and then we sprout. And it all begins in an invisible place, a place that cannot be seen. So that's where it begins. So the root chakra is connected to many, many, many things, and in a deeper program we'll dive into that a little more. But on a more surface level, it deals with our sense of safety and security, our connectedness to humankind and all of nature, to our past, and to all of the generations of things that are running through our veins, because each of our ancestors is a part of us. My dad could not have come into being without his dad, and so his dad's and his mom's genetic material is all in my dad, and all of them are funneled, and same with my mom, her mom, her dad. So all of that is funneled into me. And that was interesting. All right. But it all funnels down. We have generations and generations of experiences, and of fears, and of victories, and of failures, and of all types of things just in our genetic material. And so we are the product of a lot of things, or at least this is how I see it. And so the chakra journey is an inward journey, looking at those things over which we do have control, instead of focusing so much on the externalities over which we have no control at all. And if I do not get this thing together, yes. So in a sense, or not in a sense, but we are going to be focused on those things. So for this week, we're working on the root chakra, the Muladhara chakra, the position of which, traditionally, according to ancient texts, is situated roughly, I want to say, in the coccyx area. And so this is our root. This is the place where those energies, the energies from all of those things that I've been speaking of, our fears and our insecurities and our connectedness, all of the energy from that is stored in that place. And so we focus on that, but we're not gonna go down this rabbit hole too far. We're just gonna get right on into it, and I will just do that thing by default in the context of the meditation. So beginning eyes forward, just looking ahead, not focused on anything in particular, just taking deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Feeling that cleansing and renewing with each inhalation. impurities to be released with each exhalation. And with the next out breath, returning the breathing to normal in and out through the nose and closing the eyes. And as we settle into the meditation, as we settle into our space, we turn our attention to the physical senses. Feeling the weight of the body pressing down against our seat, and feeling that contact between our body and the seat, between our hands and our laps, our forearms and our laps. Being mindful of any sounds that may be present, be they loud or quiet, near or far away, comforting or abrasive. And noticing if there are any strong smells around or any tastes lingering in the mouth. And for just a moment, checking in with the body to see how it's feeling today. Beginning with the soles of the feet and working our way up to the crown of the head. Just doing a scan, looking at every part of our body, just noticing. But not lingering on anything, just noticing and continuing to move up the body, checking in. And now turning our focus to the breath. With no attempt to control or direct it in any way, just observing the process of the breath, watching the body do on its own what it does naturally, with no active assistance or thought from us. take a moment to notice where we feel that rising and falling of the breath today. Is it high in the chest and the lungs? Is it in the diaphragm? Is it low in the belly? And just continue to watch. And as we settle into the observation of the breath, we begin our day with a moment of gratitude. We search our minds for that for which we are thankful today. In the spirit of the root chakra, the Muladhara chakra, this morning I'm thankful that through a combination of reasons, all of my needs are met every day. Everything that I need for my physical survival is at my disposal every day. Something that I may take for granted from time to time, but today I say aloud, thank you. And in an equally deliberate way, I affirm, setting the tone for the day, depositing in my active awareness, in the front of my consciousness, those things on which I determine to be focused today. Ahead of anything that my mind may conjure up as a thought or my body as a feeling. I have a strong root system, and I am deeply connected to all of nature and humanity. All of my needs are met, and I feel safe and secure. I take responsibility for the energy I am cultivating day after day. I use my words and actions only to uplift and edify. I face my fears and my difficulties boldly and bravely. I am committed to my own spiritual growth and development. I love deeply, and I am loved in return. And with our intentions and affirmations set for the day, we return the fullness of our focus to the breath. Again, without controlling or directing in any way, just observing the body perform this function on its own, unassisted. Watching the rising and the falling of the breath. If it helps to count the breaths to retain the focus, then just count the out breaths to a count of 5 before starting again at 1. The moment we notice the mind beginning to get carried away with thoughts, just grab that focus and return it to the breath, to that observation, just watching. Again, if the mind begins to wander, it's okay, it's perfectly natural. Just return the focus to that rising and falling of the breath. And for just a moment, relinquishing all focus, just allowing the mind to think about whatever it wants to think about for the next few seconds or so. returning the focus to the breath as we become to once again become aware of the space around us, the place where our physical body is currently situated. Be aware of the space in front, behind, above, below, to the sides. And notice once again the physical sensations, the weight of the body against the seat, and the feeling of contact between the body and the seat. The contact between the hands and the forearms against the legs. Noticing any sounds in the vicinity. Strong tastes or lingering aromas. And when we're ready, slowly and gently opening the eyes, but retaining our position for just a moment. And there we are, another day off to a good start. So for the next few days, we'll talk more about the chakras, specifically the Muladhara chakra, the root chakra, the first of the 7 chakras in this system, and how laying this foundation is so necessary for the growth of the spiritual practice. There's an old saying, I cannot remember who said it, but a tree could never grow to heaven whose roots do not grow down to hell. The roots are some would argue the most important part of a tree, because a weak-rooted tree will never grow very large. It will not be able to support a great physical structure that can be seen. The roots, if you see a massive, strong tree, its roots are equally massive and strong, if not more so. That part that cannot be seen. So that's what we're developing for the next few days, that system of roots by which our spiritual tree will grow. All right, so have a great Monday and a great week. Spread light and love everywhere you go.